Hello, Fredak here. Fred ACC, all one word. Alrighty, it is Thursday, August the 7th. About 7:30 a.m. East Coast time. It would take another 30 to 45 minutes to post this. At that point, it'll be like 8:15, 8:30 East Coast time. XRP is at about $3.08. Alrighty, first up, I want to thank you all for being here. Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Fredak has notes. Oh, I don't know if that's good or bad, but Fredak has notes. Alrighty, we're going to start off with our usual mumble jumble about the scammers. Be careful of the scammers out there. They're everywhere. And Fredak has his Yankee shirt on. Yes. Lifetime New Yorker. Alrighty, let's get right into all this here. Why waste people's time? Where do I begin with all this? For a solid 10 months, I've been blabbling about XRP. For those of you who got involved with it back on my generational wealth post, which others are yapping about generational wealth, where did they get that from? From Fredak? Could be. I'm glad you asked. Back then it was 52 cents. Now we're over $3. $3.08. And there's a lot going on. There always is. But I come on here and post for you guys. Hopefully you subscribe. As I've said many times, knowledge is power. You come, you listen to Fredak. I try to bring things your way that you're not going to hear from all the other talking heads. They're going to tell you everything you want to hear. I'm not here to do that. I come in here to speak to you guys about what's swirling around in my head. It's not financial advice. No. It's just the thoughts swirling around in Fredak's head. I try to bring things your way that you're not going to hear from all the other talking heads. I wouldn't be surprised if Crackhead Johnny and Crypto Crackhead and Grandma Crypto are watching Fredak. They should be. They might actually absorb something new. But let's be real. Most of the people that are on YouTube are professing to certain people, just trying to grow their base so they can make monies. And they're selling the stapler or the pen or the cap and the hat or whatever, the course or this, that, I don't know. Fredak's not selling anything. I'm just trying to sell you some good, share with you some good solid information. Stuff to think about. Things that are worth thinking about. Making money is worth thinking about. And I posted a couple of days ago, $10 bills for $3. I haven't changed at all on that thought. I think that that's the way that things are going to be going. All right, what have I got on here? Okay, I've got something here that says anything for sale. It's the price. Yellow. Think about the big picture of things. If somebody is selling a jet ski, a house, surfboard, whatever it might be, stereo system. People even listen to stereos anymore? I don't know. Used car. How long has it been for sale? The longer it's been for sale, the more that tells you it's overpriced. Whatever the item is, whatever the price may be, it's overpriced. If it was priced right, it would sell quickly. That's just capitalism. Capitalism at its best. Alrighty, let's get into all this stuff here. Okay, I hear a lot of different stuff out there about XRP. There's a lot of good, and there are some bads. And I've brought that forward to you guys out there. You need to be aware of both sides, what's good and what's bad. On the good side, there are so many numerous catalysts. Let's go down the list here. You got this Ripple company. They bought a clearing firm called Hidden Road. The size of it is 100 billion of them that are going to be released. When you run the numbers on these things, just on the size of it compared to the 100 billion of XRP tokens, coins, whatever, and 20 million of Bitcoin, you divide 20 million into 100 billion, you get 5,000x. 5,000 times 5,000 XRPs equates to 1 Bitcoin. Now, I've seen Bitcoin go from the 90s, the 80s, up to 100, up to 110, 120,000. It hasn't been doubling every 2 or 3 months, but I've noticed that XRP has far outpaced the percentage gains. And there's numerous reasons for that. XRP is a huge behemoth. It's a large amount. I gave the analogy in other postings about the Queen Mary compared to a small rowboat. If you and I are sitting in a rowboat and Jimmy, our friend, gives us a push, we could get pushed out into the lake or the ocean. But if it's a huge giant ocean liner, Jimmy can push all he wants. I don't think he's going to push it all that much. I think Jack Laine did it once. Something, pulled a huge ship with his teeth or something. I don't know, the Hudson River or something like that. I think that's what put the exercise guy on the map. Probably 50, 60 years ago. I'm probably dating myself quite a bit here. So there are so many different catalysts out there for XRP. Regulation. Right now, it's very, very limited. You don't get best price. That keeps a lot of people away. It's enough to keep me away. I'm not going to buy something I have to pay 3 or 4 cents above where it's trading at. If I want to sell it, I have to sell it for 3 or 4 cents below. What the heck? If I buy it and it moves up a dime, they're making all the money. I'm not making any money. They're making more money than I am. But that's going to change. And when that changes, it's going to bring in a lot of outside liquidity. Monies. That's liquidities. All right, what do we got here? What's going on behind the scenes? Hello, I'm glad you asked. All righty, let's get into what's pretty important here. Be careful of the scammers. Mass adoption is coming. That's what I should post for this one. Mass adoption. I have given so many reasons over the last 8 months. Some good, some bad. Hello. Fredak is not here to tell you what you want to hear. No. I'm here to tell you what I actually think. Let's go with a few of the caveats. If somebody's selling a used car and it's priced at $10,000, it's a nice car. Then you open up the hood, there's no motor in it. What are you going to do with a used car with no motor in it? The function of the car is to go from point A to point B. It's not going to run from point A to point B very well with no motor. So there's not much functionality to that used car. Not for its purpose of traveling. It's very comfy inside. I guess you can sit and hang out with your friends and drink Cokes or beer, root beer, whatever. Unless it has a functionality to it, I can't see the use case for it. And let's transpose that over to the Bitcoins and Ethereums and XRPs. From what I hear about XRP compared to the others, Bitcoin and Ethereum, slow, time-consuming, a lot of energy involved, takes time to clear, can't do as many transactions, and that might apply to one or the other more so than both. Fine. As I've always said, knowledge is power. Do your homework. You got to check things out. Check out everything from Fredak. I posted 6-7 weeks ago how the volume was increasing, low $2 on XRP. If it's valid, and I don't know that it is because it's not regulated, it could be window dressing. There's always a game within the game, which we're going to try to go into the game within the game on a lot of different areas. I see the game within the game going on in the real estate world. Nobody wants to accept the fact that people can't afford the insane prices that things have surged to. Not that they're insane, it's just that salaries, the financial wherewithal of the average person, there always comes a tipping point to buying a new home. $450,000, $500,000, $800,000 for first-time home buyers, you're kind of stretching it all. Their salaries didn't double in the last 5-6 years. So how are the prices sustainable doubling in 5, 6, 7 years? But the shakeout is coming. I've posted stuff about real estate on here. Okay, let's get back into the notes here. Okay. I got something here about earthquakes. Hello! And I'm glad you asked. And I'm talking about, these are the ideas that I think of that are outside the box. As an analogy, it helps me to transpose ideas from my head to your head. Now you might hate all this stuff. You might hate Fred Ack, but the bottom line is that if it makes sense, CENTS and SENSE, you step in and you got to grab some of these. Once we pass $455, it becomes kind of difficult to convert your currency into the new world currency, which I believe is going to be XRP, and it might not be. It might be XYZ. Who knows what it's going to be, or if it's going to be anything. And I've posted on some of my recent postings why the United States has every reason to want to stay as the main central focal point, the hub within the middle of it all. I am kind of surprised. It wouldn't surprise me actually 10, 15 years from now if we find out information that some of this stuff came to fruition. But XRP would be, or the Ripple company would be wise to gift 12, 15 billion of their remaining supply over to the United States. You're bringing them on board. Think about it. It's a classic move. Then when the U.S. government gets involved with theirs, they help push that price upwards. It monetizes their debt. Hello, President Trump, Elon, whoever wants to listen, reach out to Fred Ack. I don't mind talking to you about it. I posted this back in January. It could be the greatest post ever. If you don't have the opportunity to look at it, find the opportunity to look at it. The United States financial crisis. If it comes to fruition, people are going to look back on that and they're going to say, wow, that guy was visionary. I don't know about that. Blind as a bat. But put the glasses on. Get back to the game over here. So back to earthquakes and bulldozers. So let's just say there's a huge earthquake somewhere, and God forbid, somewhere around the world somewhere. Well, we'll go to the West Coast. The West Coast gets decimated by this San Andreas fault. There's a huge earthquake. It's been over 125 years. Could be overdue for something like that. Sadly, I hope that I'm wrong, but if something like that happens, which stocks start to move instantly? Caterpillar, John Deere, the ones that are going to be involved with rebuilding that area. Concrete. All the companies that are going to be connected to rebuilding. Fine. So, going with fake numbers here, making this up. There's 100,000 bulldozers in the U.S. or in the world or whatever. If a certain amount of them are getting bought up, they're getting staked, they're getting grabbed for a use case scenario, there's going to be that much less of them in supply. So naturally, if you own one of those, or you own 10 of them or 15 of them, you're a small demolition company, and you're going to sell some of them, you're going to raise the price. Supply and demand, that's kind of how it works. Well, hello, that's what's going to happen with XRP. Think about it. If there's mass adoption and use case scenario, a lot of ifs in here, and I get all that. A large financial institution is not going to be filling up their pockets with XRP and then floating it all around or having a for sale sign on it. No, they're going to need that for themselves. So the supply is going to start to diminish. And if the demand just stays the same, the only thing that can happen is the price goes up. Now let's go with the caveat on the other side of all this. What could go wrong? Well, I'm glad you asked. Hello. If Ripple, the company, gets too big, purchasing Hidden Road, they've got all these big name people that decided that that's the place they want to go. My gut feeling is that Jerome Powell, the head of the Federal Reserve, if he resigned from his position 10 minutes ago, before the sun sets today, he could probably land a job at some huge financial institution, because they would love to have his name on a shingle. They're able to say, well, we've got Jerome Powell here. Yet all these big name people, a long list of them. Do your homework. And I haven't done mine to have a list in front of me to read off the names. Rosie this, Susie that, whatever. But these big name people chose Ripple to put their name at. Now, more than likely, they're getting compensated both financially, and they've been offered some kind of a stake of XRPs, maybe at a certain price. Just we'll give you this amount of XRP for putting your name over here with us, and also giving us your financial insight, which sometimes tends to mean that the individual is going to add their connections, their pull to the Ripple company when we need to get something done. Well, maybe you can call so-and-so that you know, because they'll take your call, and that'll help open up a door for us. Alrighty, so let's get back to all this. So the point of that about the bulldozers is that if XRP should become the one, and I think that it will, then as mass adoption comes in, Bank of America, Fidelity, everybody's going to need some of this thing here. They're going to grab theirs, and they're not parting with it. No. And the volumes have surged in a lot of different spots. Are they valid? I don't know that. If somebody can find that information for me, I will tell you the future. 50 to 80 million this minute, 50 to 80 million that, 55 million this minute. Then there were over 130 million, 136 million going through. That's not Fred Axe. That's not 9 to 5ers. Think about it. Hello. Okay, here's the question I have. What do you think happens when it goes mainstream? Hello, I'm glad you asked. When the regulation comes from the SEC, that's going to create an even playing field. The individuals like you and I can start to play the trading game. Are there certain things that you can use to put the percentage advantages on your side of going long or going short? I haven't figured that out yet. When I do, I'm going to share it with you guys. Still, let's stay with the thought. When regulation comes, you're going to get a lot more eyeballs, a lot more liquidity, a lot more money coming into all this. Because right now, I can't stomach the thought of giving up 3 or 4 cents to buy or 3 or 4 cents to sell. That's probably why I haven't parted with a single one of mine. I learned that lesson 2.5 months ago, and I bought it, tried to buy it at $1. It was trading at $1.77. I tried to buy a small amount at $1.79, didn't get any. $1.80, canceled it, waited 2-3 minutes, tried to buy nothing. Went in, bought at the market, paid $1.82. Criminal. Unregulated, it's not best price. Plenty of people sold theirs, probably at $1.77 and a smidgen, less than $1.78. I was there willing to buy from them at $1.80. They did not get that because it's unregulated. Now, the companies that are involved with this, they're not breaking the law, but it's actually a detriment. I think it's holding it back. Okay, so the big money game. Let's think about this. Stepping outside the box, something to think about. Let's say I work at a large financial institution, and the team that I'm on, they're talking about getting involved with this thing called XRP or XYZ or whatever it might be. It doesn't really matter what, fill in the blank with whatever you want. If they're going in and purchasing, I don't know, $8 billion worth of this thing, or $1.5 billion, not million, $1 billion worth of this certain thing, let's use XRP as the example. Well, the moment I leave work that day, what am I going to do? I'm going to call my broker, I'm going to get online, I'm going to buy XYZ or XRP or whatever. Once I've filled my pockets with mine, then I'm going to call relatives and friends of mine and tell them, look, you're never going to believe what we're doing over here at blankety blank, but we're purchasing a boatload of this XYZ, this XRP, and it just starts to spread. Why wouldn't you? You're getting the advantage of knowing that your financial institution, your team of people have looked at this, analyzed it, and made the decision that we've got to put our toes in the water. Well, you're going to go get out there and get $4,000 in your account and buy 1,200 XRPs, whatever amount you can afford. Why wouldn't you? You'd be out of your mind not to do that. And as we're moving forward now, as the catalysts are starting to click, that is going to spread more and more and more. This is something that has always been there, and I think this is what might be holding things back. The big money institutions, they don't play on the same level playing field that you and I play on. There are certain little tricks that you and I as the individual, kind of like the minnow next to the huge school of sharks, there are some spots where we could use that to our advantage. For example, the SOES bandits, SOES, Small Order Execution System. Just Google it, SOES. You'll learn something. There was a time where it was almost like free money trading. Early 90s, they set up this thing, this Small Order Execution System. 1,000 shares or less, you had to be given the ability to purchase things before the big money people. What do I got over my shoulder here? So the big institutions, they do have certain advantages for them. And it's understandable. The governments have created that for them to be able to profit. Because let's be real. If there's going to be a whole new financial makeover and it's going to be expedited, money can transfer from here to Germany in 2 seconds. And the cost is minimal, nothing like the archaic way that it's done now. Well, why would an entity set up shop in all the major cities and all the major countries if there's no money in it for them? They're not going to do it for free, not for altruistic reasons. Oh, we really want Cambodia and Vietnam and this place and that place to be open to the world. No, they don't give a rat's buns about that. What they care about is making the monies. Think about it. Hello! But I do have to say that there are advantages that the big money institutions have, whether it's the market makers or whatever, and it's somewhat understandable within the realm of reason. They have to have a vested interest in why they can make money from the things that they do. If not, they wouldn't do it. They're not going to do it to lose money. They'll go out of business. And in my opinion, mass adoption is what is holding back the price on XRP and probably a lot of different things. Okay. Something more to think about. Another tidbit. Another thing to think about. There are certain companies out there that they decided, well, for the product that we have, we're going to start investing heavily in Bitcoin. And we'll hope for the best. That happened with something called MicroStrategy or something, some company out there on Wall Street. Could that become a repeat scenario? Absolutely. I would not be surprised if you started to see some company that makes cupcakes or Campbell's soup say, yeah, we've started to invest heavily in XRP or XYZ or whatever it might be. And if it becomes XRP, what does that mean? That means they're taking supply out of the equation. And if the demand stays the same, or if the demand increases, you're looking at a 2 or 3x multiple. So let's think about this. Hello, and I'm glad you asked. When I posted Generational Wealth back in October, go and watch it. 52, 53 cents, 51 cents. You had a solid 3 weeks to get involved with it. 3 whole weeks. What are you waiting for? Hello, McFly. At $3, that's gone up, what? 6x to where it was. If we go up 6x from where we are here, what kind of price are you looking at? You're over $18. You're over $18. Nothing wrong with buying $18 bills for $3, like I posted on here. $10 bills for $3, $2.98, $2.99. You had plenty of opportunity. Alrighty, let's see what else we got on the notes here. Here's another thing. And unfortunately, this is how the game tends to be played. He who jumps in last pays the most. I used to swim in the world of the big financial people. There was a famous saying out on the floor. They'll slit your throat for an eighth. An eighth of a point. Used to trade in eighths and quarters, but eighths of a point was the normal thing on compact computer, IBM, whatever it might be. If it was bidding 81 and a half, it was offered at 81 and 3/4. Yes, you could put a limit sell and lower that down to 81 and 5/8, 81 and a half bid, 81 and 5/8 offered. Bump, you get taken out. And they decimalized it down to the pennies. Good and bad for the individual investor. Still, the big money has its abilities to make big money. And I think that might be partly what's holding back XRP, XYZ, whatever the go-to thing might be. Personally, I think it's everything points to XRP. How is the big money going to be able to make their morsel? If they can make a morsel on every trade, every transaction, then there's money in for them. Because then it only becomes a question of, am I making 1 million transactions a day? Or are we doing 100 billion transactions a day? You don't need that big of a morsel on 100 billion transactions. 100 billion morsels adds up to a lot more than 1 million morsels. That's the conundrum within the numbers. All right, let's get back over here now. So he who jumps in last pays the most. Sure, everybody promises, oh, we're not going to run this up. Well, guess what? Along the way, people lie. In the financial world, they lie to each other. They're out having drinks. Yeah, we'll see what happens. And if blankety blank stock or coin drops down to whatever, we might go in there and nibble a little. You don't know. They might come out of that drinking binge and go back and chat with a bunch of the higher ups, and they decide, F it, we're not waiting for anything. Let's just get in there and just start buying them all. Now, I would love to know where these voluminous numbers are coming from. The only place I can figure it's got to be coming from the Ripple company, from their escrow. So then you turn around and you think, why are you parting with your stuff at what conceivably is a lower price? And also, if I'm buying 95 million of them, I'm not paying $3.08. If I'm buying 300 of them, sure, you got to pay the $3.08. But if I come to Ripple and I negotiate a deal with them and I say, look, I'm interested in buying 136 million of these, what kind of price can you give me? If they tell me $3.15, I'm not that moved by it. If they tell me $2.15, I might think about it. If somebody could reach out to the talking heads and get some concrete information, or direct me, who's got concrete information, solid information from Ripple? Where are these trades coming from? Who's accumulating? And at what price? I will give you all the future. I'll tell you what's going on. Give me accurate information, and I can digest it and share with you. 100% accuracy? No. Probably about 95, 96% accuracy. You give me the concrete numbers of what's going on. Because nobody's accumulating 140 million of these things, or 255 million of them 30 minutes later. This is getting accumulated. And it's only a question of time before the Pandora's box is open. We're looking at mass adoption. So many different things going on. Hidden road. The names of the people, regulation, ISO 2000. The use case scenario, on and on. There's so many use case scenarios for this new version of monetary movement. Taxes, gift cards. Every different country that has some form of retirement system, Social Security, disability, whatever it might be, they go on and on and on and on and on. You're going to be buying tickets for the Yankee games. Buy your tickets for the Yankee games. All right, I've bent your ear enough. Have a game plan. If you buy it at $3 and you want to sell it at $4, that's absolutely fine. And I don't know that it's going to go up to there, but I think that it is. May all your days be winning ones. Subscribe to Fredak. Any comments that you might have, put them down below. Always enjoy them. Have a winning day. Make all your days winning ones.